welcome back to another episode of Just Our Luck podcast. Today I am joined with Amber.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, a little delayed. Were you?
I don't know. I thought you were going to give an introduction.
I mean, this is all about you, so I can't introduce you and then you talk about yourself.
That's something.
You know? Amber is currently employed and in grad school. Is that better?
Double whammy.
You know? Are you... No, Gerard is our first employed in grad school person. But you're the first woman.
Darn.
So, you know, we all have our...
Historic.
Yeah. Gerard was the first man. So here we are. You know, breaking down diversity barriers one step at a time. So first I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Pew, pew, pew.
Total of 3, nothing crazy, very simple, very easy. But you know, just some background about you. Who are you as a person? First question, entrepreneur or corporate America?
Entrepreneur.
College or real world experience?
College. I'm a whore for academia.
Oh my gosh. And we'll get into that later. And suburbs or urban life?
Urban.
Okay. Interesting.
Why is that interesting?
No, just a nice Mod Podge, I guess. You might have been the first person with those set of answers, but
I'm unique.
And that's all that matters, right? Why not? Why be somebody else? That's boring. Lackluster. It's giving copy and paste. But anyways, so Amber, who are you? What are you doing? What are you not doing? What are you, how are you surviving in a pandemic as a recent college graduate, but also grad student?
Yeah. So I'm currently a ESL teacher in a small urban district. And I'm also pursuing my master's in instructional design and technology. STEM girl.
What the heck is instructional design? Like making a curriculum?
Yes, but also like the people that work at Liberty Science Center that create like the exhibits. Those are instructional designers. There's also instructional designers in like corporate America too.
Interesting.
They're all over. Like a lot of my classmates, there's some classmates that are like educators, education, blah, blah, blah. And there's some people that are like in corporate America. Some people work in museums. It's all different things. It's like a combination of like sociology and then the hard sciences.
This is in research. What type of school? Like education, like Masters of Education, Masters of Science?
It's a Masters of Arts.
Masters of Arts.
In Instructional Design and Technology, but it's through the School of Education.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And why? How'd you get, out of just saying, oh, I'm getting my master's in education. What was like, wow, instructional design, so interesting, so riveting?
I ask myself that question every day. So I knew that I want to get my PhD. That was the goal. And
PhD
in educational
TBD.
Leadership or education policy, somewhere in that realm.
Yes.
So, and you can get a PhD out of your bachelor's, but I think that's stupid because the whole point of PhD is research. And so I'm 22 years old.
Right.
It just didn't make sense to me. So I wanted to have more experience in the field.
So there are programs in education that just like keep you there like 8 years, let's say, and you'll get your PhD.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like you said, when you say like you can get your PhD from your bachelor's.
Yeah, no, there's people that like, I don't know if the same school, I don't know of a school that has like a program like that, but there's people that will graduate with their bachelor's and maybe take a year off, maybe not. And then you just apply for a PhD program, skip your master's and bippity bop. You can do that.
Oh, so a master's isn't a no. You don't need to get your master's to get into a PhD program.
You suggested, but
context, maybe a little more education before you commit to 2+ years.
And then the person that explained it to me, they're like, a master's is 60 credits and a PhD is 90. So really, you're doing half the work anyway. I was like, you're right.
Okay.
You are correct.
So it could result in you being in a PhD program
after you get your master's. Yeah.
Then gotcha. Okay.
Because you're doing it both at once.
Gotcha. So did you always know you wanted to do education? Like you went into college knowing like, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to support the youth.
Yeah. Okay. But I think I went in kind of like how everyone else went. And I was like, I like kids.
But
no, not that I don't like kids, but I think that's a dumb reason to get into teaching. Like, there's so many of my classmates now that are in the field currently and they hate their jobs and they hated student teaching, but they could not do, or they didn't feel like they could do anything else because you can't do other things, education degrees.
So it was like, they got to their 3rd and 4th year and they were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I hate 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
But your program, your major is centered around teaching 12-year-olds or that age group.
Chaos.
So that's very much like, oh my God, I want to change my major. Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
It's too
like
late.
Big time. Because literally none of the education classes you can use towards like literally anything else. But yeah, there's
that is
other things you can do with education
very specific
degree.
Box to put yourself in and hope for the best.
But I just don't, it's because they go in. I mean, I went in knowing I like kids and I also knew a little bit about education, but I'm the type of person that I'm going to like learn everything about whatever the thing is. So I was on the board for the largest labor union in the United States. I did a bunch of like community service work and I went to all the different schools. I went to urban schools, suburban schools, Catholic schools. Like I did
and this
all
was all throughout
stuff.
your program.
Yeah. I mean, yes, but I also augmented it too.
Okay.
Where I feel like some people, they just go to one type of school, they see one type of thing and they're like, wow, these kindergartners are so cute.
Right. But meanwhile, just because that kindergarten class is cute doesn't mean you'll go to the next town, state, region.
And it's more work than that. Like it's a job. When you go in thinking like that, then you're the same people that are equating teaching to babysitting.
Right. Which meanwhile you are like, you know, in the most important formative years as a human. And
you have teachers that are like, I don't care.
Today we're coloring. And we're not going to teach them coloring in the lines. We're just going to let them vibe. Can't put vibe in the curriculum.
Accurate.
That's unfortunate.
Accurate.
I think though, well, maybe not. I guess that's free time, summer camp vibes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not September to June.
Yeah. I mean, coloring, sure, but also instruction.
This is how you hold scissors properly. Because there is a wrong way.
Yeah.
That's good to know. But, I mean, okay, so obviously we have probably also had teachers who we could tell they didn't want to be here. They were just here to get their check and leave.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
Right.
Accurate.
Right. I'm here so I can pay. I'm here in this urban school so I can use this time to get my loans forgiven. It's giving very much that. Are these like attitudes talked about in education, like as you're getting your degree? Yeah.
What type of attitude?
So like, I don't know, just the overall like attitudes and effects of a teacher and how that impacts the student. Because like we can talk about that having graduated high school, college, and being like, wow, I definitely wasn't learning what I was supposed to. But like, as you're learning how to not be that person, is that a thing being taught?
Yes and no. So it's not like they're like, oh, we didn't learn about Black history, so you need to teach. No. But it is like you can't come to the classroom and not bring your authentic self, because then when you teach kids, they're going to know and like how to like create boundaries and like that stuff is taught. But other stuff is not. Right. Unless you seek it out.
Right. Racism.
Yeah.
Microaggressions.
Class privilege. Class privilege. Oh my God. So I did the open houses for the College of Education. And this one girl, I think it was my sophomore year. And this one girl came, she was a junior or senior. And she was like, I did a placement in Newark and the kids just didn't have lunch bags. And so I brought a plastic ShopRite bag and they just loved it. They were just so grateful for I was like, are you serious right now? So a room full of prospective students, not one of them was Black, of color, everything. I was just like, no, they probably were just like, cool, and threw it out when they got home.
Do you know how much I hated lunch bags in middle school? And I felt embarrassed holding my lunchbox, knowing that everything in it I needed, but also knowing that I'm not going to carry a plastic bag for my lunch because that wasn't my personal style. But also recognizing if I could, I would not be holding this lunchbox anyway.
But yeah.
It's like, to me, the equivalent of a rolling backpack.
Yes.
I need it, but I hate it.
And I had one in 5th grade because I thought that it was cool. And that's kind of like the cusp of like, you shouldn't have a rolling backpack.
It gets a little...
And then after 5th grade, I was like, this is not helpful.
Are rolling backpacks convenient? Yes. Up until 4th grade.
Because even when they have the straps on it, so you can make it like a regular backpack, but then the wheels are muddy or wet, or they have debris on them.
So why would I walk
So it's not functional.
With dirty wheels.
And then the wheels get on your back. You got mud on your back. You got dirt on your back.
And rolling backpacks are more expensive than a regular backpack. So I'm going to use it.
And they serve no purpose.
To roll. She's rolling. And that's it.
You're in a crowd full of people tripping over your backpack.
Listen, make way. Me and my rolling backpack are coming. And you're going to have to move. Otherwise, I'm going over your foot. And you know what? That's a you problem, not a me problem. I had a nice purple rolling backpack with my initials monogrammed in it. Very much LL Bean.
Wow.
It was a nice dark purple.
Eddie Bauer.
It was a vibe. And then at the end of the year, of course, it's usual raggediness. And I was like, I
got a new backpack every year.
To hold it on my shoulders.
Every year I got a new backpack.
And was it for fashion? Yes, but also...
to hold my books.
I was abusing my backpack religiously by accident. Every year be like, okay, this time it's gonna last. And then by the end of the year, shoulders are falling apart. There's probably a hole in it from something I stabbed it with by accident. You know, I tried my best.
This is accurate.
I guess I just wasn't picking high quality things.
Yeah, you need that Jansport.
But sometimes Jansport doesn't work either. I got whatever Target offered at the cutest.
And that's why you only used it for 1 year.
Okay, we're not coming for Target. Let's move on from this topic before I get aggressive. Coming for Target. Anyway. So right now you're an ESL teacher.
Yes.
For those who don't know what the abbreviation of E, S, and L is, what is that?
English as a second language.
Gotcha. Okay.
Is what I do.
And when you were graduating, were you thinking, I'm going to be an ESL teacher? Or was it just like, if it's a teacher position and it's available in this pandemic, I'll take it?
So here's the thing. So my experience, when in not COVID times, they usually start hiring in March for the next school year. Like that's when they know like if they're going to have pregnancies or anything that's going to be open. And so then March was when everything went down. So of course everyone is scattering. The district that I was student teaching in offered me a position in January.
Okay.
And then I had interned at another school the summer before, and they had offered me a position back in like July of 2019. So I had 2 offers already before March even happened. Then I went to a virtual career fair, whatever, but it's just for teaching.
For funsies?
Yes, because I was like, I think I'm worth more because the price that they came in, both of them were low. And I was like, I have 3 certifications because in New Jersey, and it's different from each state, but you have to get certified for each. So I'm certified for elementary, I'm certified for special education, and I'm certified for ESL. And I can get certified for Spanish bilingual if I wanted. So I was like, I have all those qualifications, and I felt like the price that they were coming in was too low. And I didn't really like the school that I was student teaching in. The principal was less than glamorous. And so I was like, let me just see what's out there. And then I found the district that I'm working in now, and that was that. And they literally, from my first interview to like getting the contract was like 2 weeks. And I actually got the contract like 5 days before our graduation date.
So these were all virtual interviews over the phone, or like you had to get the
Zoom.
camera ready?
Yeah, Zoom. Which is a little bit better because they didn't have, like in a traditional, you had to go into the district, you had to teach a sample lesson to kids that you don't know.
Yes.
So usually they go terribly, and then you have to give feedback on the terrible lesson.
Right.
And then you go back again to meet all these people. So I did all that in like 2 days.
Okay.
Instead of like...
So what, you meet like the principal?
The principal, the head of HR, the head of the curriculum department. I forget what her name is. And then the last interview was the superintendent, which is like the head of the school. And I mean, each district is different, but yeah, like the district that I student taught in, I never met the superintendent. They basically hired me on the spot and like forged my paperwork.
Good.
So
we love a background check. We love thorough.
Yeah.
It's very much giving standards and policies and procedures.
Yeah.
Right. So
legality.
So if that was the first red flag, you know, who knows
first one.
What would have awaited.
And this one I have like a 10% higher salary. So
how do you, as a teacher coming out as someone with their, is it a BS or a BA in education?
BS.
Interesting. Okay. So as someone coming out on a BS in education and you have certifications, like how do you gauge how much you could get paid? Because obviously, as we all know, teachers don't get paid a lot of money. But if you have a master's, you're going to get paid more money. But what we also don't know is that you can get certified. Well, at least I didn't know that you can get certified in like a million different things.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just like
education.
I knew this one. Yeah.
Teaching.
Yeah. You know.
I mean, for public schools, private schools, you could be a bum on the street and you basically just need a bachelor's. And associates, really. You know.
Okay, good to know. As we both came from a private middle school. Love that. So how do you like gauge, I think I can get more money because I have these things. You know, like as someone who works in corporate America, I can go on Glassdoor and be like, all right, what's the tea?
Yeah.
How are they paying you? But like, how does that work in teacher land?
They don't. I mean, I got 4 offers. So I had 4 offers with pay, like the full contract, full benefits. So I basically just put them against each other. And I knew which one was best. But then also because I did all the union work, I just talked to the people that I knew in those districts and like see how they were. And yeah, I made my decision from that.
So it's kind of just based off of networking and who had the best.
Which other people don't do that.
Teachers. Should teachers be networking?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel like that's stupid. It just goes back to thinking like, oh, I'm just a lowly teacher and I'm just gonna not, like, I know a bunch of people in the district and a bunch of people in the district know me from the stuff that I did.
Right. So like, is there a ladder?
What do you mean?
That teachers can climb? So corporate America, entry level to senior associate, manager, director, blah, 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 whatever.
As a teacher?
Like, can a teacher work their way up to be like a principal or vice principal?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just depends if you want to do that. Because it's a completely different job. I think it helps inform, like my principal, I think he was a teacher for maybe 5 years. He wasn't a teacher for that long. But my superintendent was a teacher for a little while before he actually just got his PhD from the same school that we went to. And
interesting.
So like it just, you can work your way up, but each year you get a pay raise. And so some people, if they just want to be a teacher, you just hone your craft in that.
Gotcha.
And then you get, if you're there for 20 years and someone is there for 5, then you'll automatically create like a hierarchy that way.
Got you. Interesting. So it's kind of just based off of seniority, in a way?
Yeah. Kind of. Because it just depends on the district, too. Because there's some people that take that really seriously. Like, I've been here for 35 years and you just graduated, so you don't know anything. Actually, I'm closer to all the pedagogy and theorems and all that stuff than you are. Have I been in the thing? No, but I know things.
Right, because you can be in the field, but also to a certain extent, you need to know, like, how what you're doing is impacting insert A through Z.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to go into the field first before I got my PhD. So that can inform,
get a taste,
my research.
But then what if so you were already in your master's program when you started at working in your district?
Yeah, I started my master's program the spring of my junior year.
Okay. So it was always done. Right. Okay. So you could not have foreseen finishing school via Zoom University.
No, not at all, no ma'am.
And
I thought people were on crack.
Had you not, so
I was planning my trip to Puerto Rico for the 2 weeks that we were off. So
had the world been normal, it'll last 3 weeks, whatever. You would have been taking in-person classes for your grad school.
It's a hybrid program anyway.
Okay.
So yes,
you were,
yeah.
Okay. Were you mentally prepared to be we're fully only doing this?
I don't think so, but I think that because I had started classes before then, and the classes that I finished in the last semester of my senior year were not meant to be online. So that was a little difficult, but the classes that I had last semester and this semester, they were online pretty much already. So then by the time they just had to hone in on using Teams or using whatever and whatever. So it hasn't been horrible.
Okay.
And now they have a semester of it under their belt. So they're there are 2 semesters now.
They should know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. We're only a year in. What else could happen? So either way, you would have been doing online classes.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent, this was going to be the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ill.
They're not that bad. I don't, because the first half, the ones that I took during my undergrad were very writing heavy. I had to write
papers
for them, which I like doing.
5 pages, 10
altogether, probably 10 to 15 per class. Over a semester though, and it's a combined thing of research.
So, okay. Interesting.
For my thesis, I had to write.
Oh yeah, I'm a business student. Page. I don't know what the F a thesis is.
It wasn't called a thesis, but that's basically what it is.
Oh, some classes call it a capstone.
That's not what it's called, but yeah.
No? Okay.
For my master's, I have to do a capstone, which
What's the difference between a thesis and a capstone? They're okay. So they just think because it's a master's program, it should have a different, fancier name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So currently, how many classes are you taking versus the maximum you can take?
I don't know what the max is. Or I guess the max is a regular course load, 4?
I think so. Well,
or 5.
In undergrad, it was 18 credits, which is 6 classes.
I think the max is 4, and I'm taking 2.
Okay.
Which is why, I could have graduated this semester based on
spring of 2021.
Yeah. But I'm going to graduate in December 21.
Because
I slowed it down because I'm not a crazy person.
Right. Were you ever taking 4 at any point?
Most that I took was 3, I think, at one time.
While you were working?
Yeah, while I was an undergrad.
So you're working now, classes every morning till, I don't know, when school ends, 3, 2:30, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So how, what does a day-to-day look like of you in class? And then okay, I have my other 2 classes for the semester.
Because, teaching is stupid in that you have to do work outside of work, so then you have work to do while you're at work.
So you don't have an 8 to 2:30.
That's my work. That's when I'm teaching.
Right.
But I have to lesson plan, create materials, grade, talk to parents, all outside of to make sure that I have stuff to do while I'm. Yeah.
So it's a 8 to 5?
Yeah.
Or a little more?
7 to 5. Depending on
a 10-hour day.
Depending on what I'm doing. And I do an after school program too.
So that adds another 30 minutes to an hour. So an 11-hour day. And how is that for you? How is that?
I mean, I couldn't imagine. I'm glad that I picked the ESL position. So that's what I was going to say before. So the 4 positions that I got one that was a special position, like a special education position where I was going to be like, not an aide, but I was only going to have a couple kids and then just like make resources for them in a general ed classroom. And then I got 2 ESL positions and then 1 general ed position.
Okay.
So I had to decide between like, and pretty much all of my placements were in like a general setting, but I kind of finessed it to make it so I could kind of use everything at once.
So if you were to get or pursue that special ed position, that would be more of a stretch for you, like more outside of something you haven't really done as compared to the general.
That's like and I'm certified for it, but that's like the one thing where I'm like, I could do it.
Right.
It would take me a little bit.
You would just
to get
learn
used to it. Yeah.
Learn and teach.
Yeah.
When you should just teach. Gotcha.
Yeah. Where like this is I'm really comfortable in it. And it's basically what I was doing when I was student teaching, where I have like a bilingual 4th grade and I was doing, but now I have 1st through 6th grade.
Okay. So you teach them ish.
Yeah.
Assist.
So I don't have to, I mean, I have to make lessons, but I just copy and paste the homeroom teacher's lessons and then add modifications.
Because it's a different language.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just be like, instead of like, if they need to write they're not writing 5 pages, I should say, a 5-paragraph essay, then now it's a 3-paragraph essay. So then they can just really focus on those skills. Or for like the kids that don't know any English, using sentence starters, adding visuals, translating if I need to. So that's why I like this position more, because I feel like everything is different every day. Whereas if I was in like a 4th grade ELA position, I would be doing not the same thing every day, but like it's pretty the same.
It's predictable.
Yeah.
You know, today we did chapter 1. 3
Tomorrow.
days. Tomorrow's chapter 2.
Yeah.
And then like if you had multiple classrooms, it would be chapter 1 all.
Yeah, chapter 1 for 2-3 periods or whatever, and then and I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can. It's not it.
It's not Groundhog's Day. Groundhog's Day? Yeah.
No, because even when I was student teaching, like I had to rotate with my kids, so they had separated. Like they have a separate ELA teacher, and I had to go with them to each. So even then, I was still doing something different every day.
Yeah,
because I had to learn pretty much the 4 different curriculums and teach it. Where now I'm doing like 5 different curriculums, 6 if you count the different subjects I do. And I don't really have to teach it. I just have to add modifications.
Yeah. You just repeat words in the language that they know.
Yeah. Or put whatever. Yeah.
Interesting. Riveting.
It's fun.
Is it?
I like it.
That's good. You should do what you like.
I like it. No, it's not just like translating, because that's actually not my job. I'm not supposed to translate. I just think you're
supposed to make them speak English.
The research shows that you're supposed to use their home language to help their second language. But most ESL teachers don't speak another language, which does not make sense to me.
So, I don't want to call them underperforming.
They're not. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me.
Non-dedicated.
Monolingual.
Right. Okay. A monolingual ESL teacher is speaking to a child that only speaks Spanish. And like, let's say they're showing them like the phone. And they're just going to keep saying, this is like phone.
Yeah.
Phone versus el teléfono.
Yeah.
Phone.
Yeah.
Or like however that works.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes people fall into that gap of they'll just do the home language, which you're not supposed to do. Like I'll translate like that. Well, I'll say like, what is this? ¿Qué es esto? Like that. And so then they see the words. Because if they're in virtual is weird too, but in the classroom, everyone is speaking English. So it's easier to kind of pick up on the different things. Right. Because you can like, you'll see like, oh, when they say it's time to go to gym, we get up and go to this place. So that must be gym. Like, and that's how they figure stuff out. Where in the virtual space, it's not as easy, but
Speaking of gym, do they have gym?
Yes.
What do they like?
It's like a Zumba class. It's a Zumba class.
Stop it.
I have never watched it, but one of the paras, it's a Zumba class. It's basically what it is.
Oh my God.
Or they'll do like yoga, and it's like led by the gym teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't. Can't wait till spring. Summer. They'll be like, all right, kids, let's walk the laptop outside, place me on the sidewalk, and draw chalk art vibes. Ooh, okay. Interesting. But so you wouldn't have to translate a gym class?
No. I only do ELA and social studies and math sometimes.
Math sometimes?
Yeah. I don't like doing math.
How do you say plus in Spanish?
Mas. But it's not
minus is menos?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the only reason that I have more math words now is because when I did student teaching, I had to teach math pretty much all in Spanish. Like I had to teach like fractions, decimals, which I never, like I know Spanish, but I don't use those words.
How do you say 2/3? You can't say...
Dos terceras or dos sobre tres, 2 over 3.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say that's a lot easier than...
But you should teach them 2/3 because then...
And not dos sobre...
Because you're not going to say 2 over 3.
Why not?
In like high school, you do that, but they're just like fractions.
They should be learning.
So you want them to know what's 2 parts of 2.
How do you do long division?
I did not teach that. I did not.
That's out of your pay grades.
I did not.
I'm trying to. Oh God.
I did like geometry, in groups.
I guess math and like geometry, algebra, like those are more like words. You know, a triangle, an angle.
Word problems though.
Yeah.
Because even if they know the math, like some kids, and it depends where they came from too. Because some kids, like, they know the math, they just don't understand the words. So you explain the words and they're like, oh, da 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 da, and they got it. Some kids, they didn't go to school in whatever country, or so then they come here and we're doing multiplication and they're adding. So
why isn't there like
to catch it up
a recipe for classes?
Internationally?
No, like for some students who, so I guess like, you know, when you're getting through 3rd grade, 4th grade, there's all these concepts that like you should know. Yeah. But it's like, what if I'm excelling in English and social studies and I'm severely lacking in math and science? Then it's either like, okay, we're going to push you to the next grade, even though you like really suck at these things, but you're good at these other things, so it's fine. Versus like, not to say that they should be in remedial math, but that's kind of like what they do in high school.
Yeah. I think they just wait until they get to high school to fix. So they let it like just even out by the time you get to 8th grade, and then in high school they do that. But if we did do that, where they had like a remedial class and then like a higher class, you'd have to hire more teachers, and districts won't do that because you have to hire more teachers. You have to have more buildings. The schedule completely changed because you're splitting a class of 20, 30, whatever into sections. Like they don't have like their schedule is the same. Like if their 2 kids are in the same homeroom, their schedule is the same the whole day. Or in high school, you had like first period, second,
right, and
third.
That's what I'm thinking now. Like
you could make it like that. You could make it like a high school schedule, but then you're asking a 7, 8-year-old to remember, is this an A or a B day?
I think that's building organization skills and time management. I think that's...
I don't know. Because they were saying like they should know to come on and whatever. I'm like, you're asking a 7-year-old to do like the structural responsibilities of
they definitely know how
high
to
schooler.
Turn on an iPad.
Not that, but
waking up at 6 o'clock.
And like self-regulating. Like they're not gonna do that. And if the parents are at home not saying,
that's
do
true.
this and this, they're not going, like, why? They have no motivation to do that.
Because I wasn't waking myself up at the age of 7.
Not at all.
My mother was.
Yeah. Even if I had an alarm clock, they still came in and they were like, knock, knock.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't until like middle school that I was like, okay, this is an alarm.
I need to be awake. Yeah.
If I'm not out of the bed at this time, I'm going to be late.
Or like even in middle school, I would tell my parents like, oh, I need extra help with this, so I need to get to school early. They're not doing that in second grade.
No. No, they're not. Interesting. But then also, when you're in high school, there tends to be multiple, like a teacher who teaches multiple grades. Mm-hmm. But I guess is that harder if you're in more of like an interdisciplinary, not interdisciplinary, but like because teachers have specific certifications for the certain grades they can teach?
No, if you're in high school, you can teach all the grades. Like if it's a secondary thing, it's usually 6 to 12, I think it is in New Jersey.
Okay.
So you can only teach English or history or whatever. Some people get multiple certs.
Right. So like what if in elementary school,
I could, as an ESL teacher, I can teach up to 12th grade, but only ESL. Same thing for, I think,
I don't get the
special
education system.
It's just a lot of barriers and red tape.
That's what it sounds like.
But I think in high school, it makes more sense. And it makes sense because a high school teacher doesn't know how to teach how to read. They know how to teach critical thinking. They know how to teach using visuals to do this, but they don't know how to teach how to read. Elementary teachers are really good at teaching how to read, how to do all that.
Which makes sense.
So that's why it's segmented more.
But now I'm thinking, like, are there really drastically that many more high school teachers than elementary school teachers? Where they have the freedom to be like, oh, I teach 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade English.
No, they do that to save money. Instead of hiring a 9th grade teacher, a 10th grade teacher, and 11th, you can just have an English teacher that teaches all of it.
So in theory, what if Miss Robbins, who teaches science, she can teach 1st through 4th grade science and have a schedule like based off of that? Like I'm trying to apply how high school is run in an elementary school.
Yeah, you could. But 1st grade is very different from 4th grade, where in high school, they're pretty much the same.
That's true.
1st grade, they don't know how to read. And 4th grade, most of them can read.
Yeah.
And critical think. Like 1st grade, you're still having to make connections and working on making connections.
So then it's like code switching.
So it's very,
in a 5-minute period.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in elementary school, they'll usually do like grade, like usually 1st to 3rd is just like one teacher teaching everything. Yeah. And then 4th and 5th, they'll do like a 4-5 teacher. Or sometimes they'll have like a 3-4 teacher.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so in conclusion, I shouldn't be designing school.
No.
Education.
It doesn't sound like
I feel like it's possible. I think if we put our heads together.
There is a way that you could do it to make it better. I think it starts though with just hiring more teachers and money.
Oh.
Which they don't want to do.
Which I also just like don't understand. Because
it does not make sense. And New Jersey is one of like the highest paying states for teaching.
I wonder what the lower paying states are.
They're like in North Carolina, they make like half of what I make for the same job.
But why?
Who knows?
Because
North Carolina.
Same type of human, a child, the same type of
like classes. When I was telling my NEA friends like how much what my contract is, and they were like, what?
But I also guess, not that this should be the only excuse, but the cost of living is cheaper there.
Yes, but it's the same job.
It's the same job.
It's the same job.
Caring for the youth of America.
Making sure they learn.
So don't teach in North Carolina.
No.
Unless you have a master's.
Even if
Do you think that's a level up?
I mean, it is everywhere, but it's not going to be the same. In teaching?
I'm starting to think about this. Okay.
In teaching, yeah, it matters. Even if you have like a master's in something that's not related to teaching.
If they see masters of insert here, they're like, oh, that's a cute $20,000.
Yeah. Or whatever the pay grade is.
Yeah. That's what I'm starting to think about. What is the pay grade? And what if we're being lied to?
The thing about teaching is they show us. So the union they made the pay scale. So I see the pay scale. After 20 years, I know what I'm going to make. And I know what I'm going to make with my master's. And I know what I'm going to make with my PhD. Every district has it. So I know
this is like public, if you're a teacher, knowledge.
Yes, but I can't just like ask for it, but I know what it is. Like I know what the pay scale in my other districts that I got offer in.
But there's when you say
the union
can't ask for it.
I can't ask the district for it. I can ask the union.
Oh, so if you went to your superintendent, it was like, hey girl, can you send me our pay scale rate?
Yeah, as an employee, yeah.
But
like as another district, no. Like it's like up until it's like steps.
Fascinating. I didn't know this.
But even like at my mom's job, they have like steps, but I don't think they have it where with like numbers attached to it.
No, because in business, which is why I mentioned Glassdoor earlier. Like and
you see like what they make
exactly. Mm-hmm. Like, and given the industry, company, whatever, like you understand the level. So like at my media agency, it's associate, senior associate, manager, associate director, lead, whatever. But like it's kind of like a mixture. I don't want to say they pick and choose what they pay you, but like every associate, you can make up your own number.
And you can negotiate.
And then you can negotiate as well. But like me as an associate already knowing the other agencies under this parent company, like I know we're all getting paid the same amount. But then once it's like senior associate manager, it's like, am I actually getting paid more because like I have a master's or
it seems like you could even have a master's and someone could just be paid more just because.
Exactly. So like my team, unless their LinkedIn's are wrong, no one on my team has a master's. But from the numbers I'm looking at on Glassdoor, they are getting paid enough money to not have a master's and just keep climbing.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, what's the difference?
If you don't need it.
These are also just negotiation theories. Like,
yeah. If you're
what is the bracket?
If you're just getting it for like to get more money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I wasn't like a master's, a PhD, it's like pretty necessary in education if you want to like keep making money, but like also like back up that you know how to do research.
I mean, there's still principals that only have bachelors. It's like it just varies. Like you can work your way up and do that way. You could get a master's. Like I could be in this district for 5 years, get my master's, go to another district and be vice principal. Like I could do that if I wanted to. It just depends on like what your vibe is. And some people's vibe is like to be in a district for 25 years to retire and then.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so then maybe I won't use education. So like Cassidy, for example, going to school for OT, you definitely need a master's to do OT.
Yeah, because that's...
Right. Yeah. That's the standard. But if I technically, in theory, don't need a master's for my desired career field, how much really is that bump going to give me?
Yeah.
These are things that keep me up at night.
You're probably not going to make anything. It's going to get higher for a little bit, but it's not going to get more higher than if you hadn't gotten it at all.
Like, I want to submit my name with bachelor's and one with master's, and I want to see, like, 20,000? Or is it, like, 5? Because then if it's just 5, what has everyone been telling us about going back to school to get your master's? A lie.
People that are whores for academia.
Going into debt for what?
Yeah.
Ew.
No.
So, speaking of debt, how are you paying for grad school?
So, luckily, my godmother paid for pretty much the first half while I was in undergrad, and I've been paying for the rest of it since I graduated.
Oh, Seton Hall charged you differently?
Yeah.
So undergrad?
In undergrad, it was discounted.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. But, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Once again, coming from the business school perspective, we could take... If that was the program you applied to and got in, we could take our grad classes for the price of undergrad until we graduate.
Maybe it was the same. It was probably like that. It was just discounted. Okay. It was like 25%. But I don't know what undergrad classes are worth because...
Right. I just know the bill that comes at the beginning of the semester. And then I say, all right, who's paying this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only debt that I have is from undergrad, and I'm trying to keep it that way. And there's a lot of ways you can get your PhD for free $99.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I feel like a lot of people talk about getting scholarships for undergrad, but who's giving out scholarships for
where
a PhD program?
No, for PhD programs, because you can do like fellowships. And those are scholarships. You just
probably competitive also. Ill competition.
What I hated though was because when I graduated, they were like, "You could have done a Fulbright," and I was like,
and no
one told me.
I still don't understand what a Fulbright is. Like, I get you have to
just get paid
study
to
something,
research. Yeah,
but like, and it's a big deal.
You get paid to research,
but is it that simple?
Yeah. You pick something, so mine would have probably been in languages or something like that. You pick something, you get paid to research about it, and then you submit like a paper at the end of the year, however long your fellowship is.
And you can, don't they also travel?
Yeah. They're all over the world.
Interesting.
And it was like the fall of senior year. They were like, yeah. Why didn't you apply for a Fulbright?
Because
why would I have known to apply for a Fulbright?
I found this program. I literally found a media like fellowship program specifically designed for like students of color. And at no point in my career of the business school, as a marketing major, as a graphic design and advertising minor, was anybody like, oh, here's some resources if you ever want to try and like get into really competitive like internship programs, blah, blah, blah,
Even
whatever.
the Career Center, they don't do anything.
They check your resume.
I like, and my resume is good. So like.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I used, honestly, if you walk in using the resume template that they leave for you online, they're not going to complain about your resume from the Career Center perspective. But like, then
the only thing that they complain about is like if you don't have experiences on there, and they just try to like, so like, did you work at ShopRite? Like, how can we finesse that? Right, but I have like things.
Yeah, nobody was putting me on to like apply to this, to be considered for this. And I even complained about that to one of my advertising professors. And he was just like, yeah, our school's more market research based. And I'm like, okay, this is your identity.
But you have
but
other
not
students.
Everyone here. It wasn't clicking. It wasn't clicking. So like college can either be very helpful or like not.
I think for my program, I got more like career advice from like the professors in my program, but not from the Career Center.
I would agree.
And even with that, I have people that just straight don't know what they're doing right now. Like I have classmates that are just like,
fake it till you make it.
I don't know what I'm doing.
What's wrong with that?
Not to be in a room full of kids and you sitting up there.
That's also very true. You can fake it till you make it as like a
anything else.
Chef.
Yeah.
Accountant.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Excel as your backup. Like, worst thing you can do is Google how to do this function.
Or
in
even
Excel.
Google, what can I do with an education degree that is not teaching? Because there are things. You can work in a museum. You can be a consultant.
Google works.
You can, like, there are things that you can do. And you just decided, well,
teaching Americans as somebody who doesn't know what they want to do is the way to go. This is the path.
Yeah.
This is the path. And I think this is my best option. Meanwhile, you get in front of the classroom, especially a virtual classroom, and everybody's just looking at you like,
like you don't know what you're doing. I hate that.
That's so unfortunate. Man, I want to say fire more teachers, but we need more teachers. Fire the bad ones. But then how do you know who the bad ones are? Why?
But
why not?
No, like, yes, but because I've been in classrooms and watched people teach, and I'm just like, I don't understand how you are also still here.
That's okay.
And then they're like, well, it's just the way that they teach. And I'm just like, and you wonder why there's no engagement. And this is not even like COVID related, like before COVID. And I'm just like, you wonder why there's no engagement. You wonder why it feels like a drag.
And
you're doing no work.
Especially when people always want to be like, oh, this school district doesn't perform well. This school doesn't perform well. And it's like, okay, well, why aren't the kids performing well? Maybe it's because they're not retaining what they're learning.
Also, they add a bunch of curriculum. Like if the kids didn't understand the stuff that was here before, now the district decided, well, we're going to add more stuff on top of stuff that they already don't know. And boom, let's go.
Right. That can only fall to one person. And that is the teacher.
And that doesn't mean the teacher is bad. They just have a lot of stuff. But also there are bad teachers.
Or they could be bad. Or their practice doesn't align with the audience.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
It's not that simple.
It's not. Because there's so many, unless you're like in a private school, you can kind of, and I realized that after once I was like, wow, we did like we had like the freaking, what's it called? Ethnic Pride. Oh, you weren't there. We had the Ethnic Pride Day, and then we had like, we did like a bunch of like interactive stuff that I'm like, it would never happen here. And it was literally because the teachers were at like the center of like making the curriculum. Even though they did pretty much the same things every year, the teachers could like model and move stuff, especially in the high school, at the school that we went to. And so in this, like the district pretty much lays down like, not these are the standards that you need to teach, like these are the books, these are the lessons that you need to teach, and they need to have this outcome by the end. So regardless of how much you want to add, and you can add and do and make it your own, but they still need to meet this standard. And if they don't, if they don't meet that standard, then that affects on you negatively. It doesn't mean that you're a bad teacher. It just means the curriculum sucks.
Didn't do what you said.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You didn't do what the district said to do. Yeah. Which therefore means you're the problem, not the district.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So it's a lot of like, but then they're also just teachers that are bad.
Yeah. The good apples are mixed in with the bad apples. And you're not going to know who's the bad apple until you eat an apple. And by then it's too late. You know, I just been coming up with metaphors. Just nothing but word vomit off the top of my head. So many things are happening in this conversation. We're learning how to become a teacher, how to not become a teacher.
Don't do it if you don't want to.
You can get a degree in education and not be a teacher. That's fun. Is there anything that would have prepared you more for what you're doing now, or like the specific position you're in right now in life?
I don't think so. I was very deliberate about the choices that I made.
Do you feel like your deliberateness is aligning
with what I'm doing? Yeah. I mean,
or do you feel like you put yourself in a box because of your deliberateness? So like, for example, like you think this is how you want to do something, and then you do it and you're like, oh my God, I should not have done this, but here I am. Or do you enjoy it?
I do enjoy what I'm doing now. I think that going into college, I didn't know. I thought that I wanted to be an ESL teacher, but I wasn't sure. So then I just started making the moves just to do it. And I think that if I was in a gen position right now, I would want to be an ESL teacher. So
doing the hardest choice, or like the more laborious?
Yeah. Because I had to take more classes. I had to do an extra test.
Right. And so the worst that could have happened is you just would have
paid all this money for nothing.
Right. But it was also still undergrad. So it's like, at least you gave yourself the choice of options.
Yeah, and that's what I was like, if I don't use it, I'll have it.
Right.
And I didn't expect that most schools were hiring ESL and special, and no schools were hiring elementary. So for my friends that were just like, they had some positions,
but it wasn't the best that they could.
Not a lot.
It was just like, you're either going to take this job or you're not.
Yeah. Like they didn't have options. They didn't have options.
On top of competition already.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you do a little bit of research, you know that ELA and social studies positions are filled. So if you want to get a job, like you want to be sure you're going to get a job, math and science.
Which nobody likes as much.
So if you don't want to do that, then don't do that. But make yourself more marketable. Like, be prepared for that.
Be prepared that if you're serious about
like, that's crazy to me when people are like, I didn't know that I wasn't going to get it. If you literally look at the statistics for the past 4 years, all of those positions are filled. 95% of them. And you decided, I'm going to be the different one.
You can make science with a social studies twist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about math. Can't speak on math.
Yeah.
I
do not like math.
That's not for me personally. If I were to teach a math class, it's giving very much 1 + 1 = 2.
It does not. I think once I'm in it, I'm like, okay, and I got to make it as interesting as possible. But after, yeah. It was the teaching in Spanish for me. Because that did not. I was like, no, man.
I'm like literally trying to say, like, me trying to help my 5 and 10-year-old cousins understand, like, take away and give, you know, the basic foundation of adding and subtracting.
Yeah, like, I could do that. But like at middle school math, no ma'am.
Oh, no.
And I'm certed for that. And no ma'am.
How do you explain multiplication?
You start with repeated addition, and then you move into groups, and then you do skip counting, and then you get multiplication. But some people skip those steps. Or some people skip those steps.
Too much work.
That makes it harder.
Too much work. Too much work. History, sure. I love a good history class. But like, because it's like storytelling. I guess, which is also why everybody wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that English and history are the easy options.
Because they're not. Because they still have to teach how to write an essay.
Oh, God.
Of reading a 4th grade essay.
Oh, my gosh.
A 4th grader's essay.
I remember getting to, like, freshman year of high school, and they're like, okay, 5 paragraphs. And I'm like, why are we still doing 5 paragraphs?
But that's because of the school that we went to. Because we were extra, because I didn't realize how, and until I got to high school, and I was like,
MLA format. AP Lang was the death of me.
Ooh. But even then, I thought my freshman year essays were fire. And I read them when I got to college. I read my high school essays. So I was like,
I never want to put myself through that.
Garbage.
In college, I was writing essays, hitting spell check, and then going, okay, I'm done. I did not edit, proofread. Was I getting the grades? Yes, I was. Absolutely. I guess something in my brain was adding up. But once I hit my requirement, there was no need for me to check it again.
Oh, no. Because I
black out when I have to write papers.
I had to write like 10-page papers in Spanish. So then I had to proofread that.
Oh, no. I literally don't proofread. Like, in my head, my essays are a conversation. And I'm like, well, due to this happens. And I guess it works out, but I'll take the extra steps of like writing an outline, knowing this is the main subject, this is the main sentence that we're working around. I will do all of that to just sit down in front of the computer, write the words to fill in the spaces.
Oh, I usually write too much.
No.
Like I'll have an 8-page, it'll be like 8 to 10 and I'll be the 11.
No. I wasn't even doing that to overcompensate. Usually if I go above the
Not even on purpose, just
above the writing requirement, it's usually because I'm not sure if this is good. So let me show you I did a little more. Because once again, I'm not proofreading. Because I'm blacking out. No thoughts. Literally, you could not pay me to like, especially sitting there writing 5 pages of something.
That's spicy.
Honey, no. I think I did a good job. It's the confidence. It's the God complex. My ego.
You said this is gold.
And my laziness. You know?
Thus, no.
If it's bad, then I understand. Because I didn't proofread. And I'll take that. But it's gotten me this far. So I'm going to keep going.
And you don't have to write anymore.
Exactly. Because once I see my word requirement, in conclusion, it's the last paragraph. And they always say, don't end your paragraphs. Don't start them. Don't use in conclusion.
In this essay, I will.
And no one has come for me. No one circled this and going, really? No. Because guess what? Whatever came after that framework, honey, I set up the story.
Wow.
In conclusion, as I've said, therefore.
That's so chaotic.
However. Period. The end. See, and that's why I am not a teacher.
Yes.
Because me reading something, I'd be like, wow, where were the thoughts when they wrote this?
For my thesis, I had to write a lesson plan, write a 10-page lesson plan, write about the lesson plan, teach the lesson, write about the teaching, then write about what I thought about the teaching, and then write about what the grades were. Like how that they did and why did they do the way that they did.
No.
So, yeah.
No. No. The most you'll get from me is a report on like why the economy is not going well.
But that's fun for me.
That's nice. That's so many thoughts.
I just keep going. I wrote 2 academic papers about Beyonce, so I'm a life.
After my 3rd page, I would simply say, read the first 3 pages. I have nothing else to say.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I know how to, maybe it's because I don't like using fluff or like, but like if you told me to write a report on Beyonce and it has to be 10 pages.
I could do it.
I could only do it starting from like the beginning of her
career.
My
God. Yeah.
If you only told me to if you told me to write 10 pages on Lemonade.
Yeah. No, I wrote 5 pages on Lemonade. I wrote, I think, 7 pages on Lemonade and 444 and like the juxtaposition of
Interesting. Maybe my mind is just set up as Twitter threads and I would provide.
They do the same thing though.
Yeah, right.
But so
like the Twitter thread is the main concept.
Yeah.
And your 7 pages is like the details. I feel like I said the details in my main concept. There's nothing to argue here.
Got it.
Which I guess, is not.
That's the whole point of academia, to argue point.
I said what I said. Why do you teach like that? Because I said what I said. 1 + 1 = 2. How does that happen? Because I said it. Because you take 1 thing plus 1 thing and you get 2 things.
No. All teaching is just talking. All we do is talk.
See?
You talk and reason, and then you talk some more.
What's wrong with... And that is all. Why must we add fluff?
Because they don't understand it. If you're a
10-year-old, yes. Me talking to like the 15-year-old, I'd be like, what is there? Like, let's say.
No, but I had 4th graders to be like, why do I have to put evidence? Like, I said it. And I was just like...
Me.
Yes, but also...
Yes, because I specifically remember those stupid, like, standardized tests. Here's a picture. Tell me what's going on in the picture. I'd be like... I remember one specifically because my uncle made me redo it. It was this person in the barn. There was a cobweb in the corner. There was just random farm things going on. And I think maybe somebody was writing something. And I was like, this is the setting and this is what's going on. And he was like, no. So then I had to sit there and create words and make stuff up. See, is education just making things up? And then testing it out?
Yeah. That's all Piaget, Maslow, Bloom.
Who's paying the bills? Like,
it's all just white men that just said, and then what about their business? And we're still using their theories today.
How are they feeding themselves?
Off of theorems.
But
I have thought about this because when we went to Yale, there was like a public academic, was Rachel Cargill, when she was there, and she was going to Columbia, and now she's not. And I was like, actually, this seems fun because she does basically say like, this is that, but then she also backs it up with facts,
right?
But not in a way that's like academia. So I think that
world experiences or like, you could also use statistics to
back
to
up
add that
experiences. So I think I like that, and I think that with my PhD, I want to do like work like that, but I still want to have the PhD to have it. Because if I'm going to do the research and do the work and have all that stuff, I want to have a PhD.
Or people listen to less?
Yeah. Oh, there's people that have full books, and if you just have a master's, like you don't have the book tours, you don't have all this like racism and misogyny too. But
is that what title? What's a new word for like a titleist? You know, I made that word up. But yeah, like, I'm discriminating basically because of your lack of title.
Yeah, it'll be like Jane Smith, MS, and they're like,
and people are like, MS.
Yeah. Like it just they look at it differently. Or if it's something that's like controversial or like groundbreaking, because you just have a master's, they'll be like, I don't know.
There's holes in this theory. I just don't understand. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking capitalism.
Yeah. I mean, the country's built on capitalism. Education was created out of capitalism. They created public schools so then kids could have a trade, so then they could work, so then they could die. Like, that's the whole reason that public education was created. So, and then now we're all based on money. All districts are based on money and how much money they have. And that's why poor Black districts don't have money and rich white districts do.
Meanwhile, if we stuck to bartering, we would all be surviving off of each other.
And paper clips.
And I think that's fine.
We could get...
I bake bread. You have a cow. I need milk.
This is accurate. I do like making bread.
You know? I make clothes. You make jam. I need jam. You need clothes? There you go. What is wrong with the bartering system?
It is. And there would be no debt. Or the debt would be like a clothes.
Collective.
Yeah.
Can't get rid of all. Well, actually, if we all form together to have collective debt,
then it doesn't exist.
Precisely. Money already doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Money's fake.
The only valuable thing is knowledge. Because if the world were to end right now, and we were all out in the woods, I know how to start a fire, but if you don't know how to start a fire, you're gonna die. No offense. You know? I don't know how to gut a bear, kill an animal, a deer,
yeah, it's like
fish.
On Survivor. That's why I want to be on that show. But they have one. It's literally that they have one person that knows how to fish, and one person knows how to start a fire, and one person knows how to look cute, and then one person knows how to create a shelter.
But out of all of those people you just named, the person who looks cute is usually going to die. Yeah, because there's a collective realization. Yeah. You don't do anything.
Yeah, you have no worth.
Therefore, the value of education. Let's change the currency to knowledge.
We could. And then I think if we did that, then the framework around education would change, because then it wouldn't be, oh, you're going to school to go to college, get a job, whatever. It would just be like, you're going to school to learn. Then we can learn about indigenous people and not Thanksgiving. Off of it. And we can learn things that are helpful. Also critical thinking skills and all that stuff. But
yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, to teach critical thinking.
We teach it now, but it's taught, it's not in the context of like real
people
world.
People don't retain it.
Yeah.
Because the way we can sit here and say money isn't real, people would literally be like, but what do you mean money isn't real? When the theory is money is just paper.
It is. That we gave value to.
Man created and said it's this amount. So that's why the jokes for economists are always like, what do you mean we're in debt? Just make more money. And then economists are like, inflation. But it's like, or that could just not be inflation.
Inflation is fake. Inflation is like, you made the money and then you said, oh, that's too much money. So now it loses it's
in
fake.
Theory, because in theory, printing more money means what? Like,
that there's more money. That's literally all that it means.
Why does everyone having more money mean that the value of things goes down?
Because then rich white people lose money. They lose their power and their status.
The new currency is education and knowledge. I think that's a lovely way to end. This has been a very riveting conversation. Very much thought-provoking, very much...
Lots of things.
Stream of consciousness.
Bop, bop, boop, bop.
I learned about the education system. Will I remember it?
In a nutshell.
I don't know. Maybe. Will I continue my theories that we could all teach each other and live off of the bartering system? Yes.
Interesting.
And I think that's okay. But maybe I'll write a theorem on it. I'm just going to start calling myself a doctor.
Like Dr. Umar?
Yes, even though he only has his master's. But I'm not going to teach him the whole Teppery ways. My master's is in life.
Jesus.
My master's is in survival.
Oh my God.
In this capitalistic environment. Anyways, this has been probably the most, I don't even know what the word is. Thought-provoking episode of Just Our Luck. But here we are. Why shouldn't we be thinking? What happens if we stop thinking?
Pensamientos. Conocimientos.
All right. The ESL teacher is speaking Spanish. Anyway, everyone, have a lovely evening. Amber, thank you so much for joining me today, giving the listeners an insight into
the brand.
What being a teacher is like.
And a panty D.
Have a cute agenda. It's more than that. And colored pens and markers.
I do have those, though.
Well, gotta be multifaceted. More than one thing can exist in this
exactly.
Structure. Two things can be true at the same time.
Pretty wow.
All right. Thank you, Amber. Woo! Today's mindful mantra comes from the iconic Michelle Obama, who wrote in her New York Times bestselling memoir, Becoming, something so simple, something so very provoking. But, did you tell yourself this today or next week or yesterday? I don't know. But the question is, am I good enough? Yes, I am. A question in a sentence, I guess. But we don't need to seek others for validation and approval. We need to seek it from ourselves, people. Am I good enough? Yes, I am. Am I good enough to apply for this application? Yes, I am. Am I good enough? But let's also remember there's a difference between am I good enough or am I too good? Because the two is what makes it very cocky, very much ego. We don't like that. Let's be cognizant, people. Am I good enough? Yes, I am. We don't have to apply this in, a job setting, our personal lives, our work lives. Confidence, I know we said fake it till we make it, but eventually we do need to start believing it. So am I good enough? Yes, I am. And with that concludes this episode of Just Our Luck Podcast. You will be hearing from me again next week. Be productive, be blessed, and be your best. Once again, I didn't mean to rhyme. I'm so sorry. Bye.